Hi, my name is Robert May, and I'm a Juilliard-trained singer, artist, and vocal coach, and this is the How to Learn a Song series. If you're joining us for the first time, it might be helpful if you look at the introductory video, which gives an overview of the whole series. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to get comfortable with words, pitches, and rhythms. This is the raw material of the song, and it's going to give you and your teacher something to work with. How you get familiar with the words, pitches, and rhythms depends a lot on your background and a lot on your budget. So I'm going to present a few ways that you can do this. If you have a low budget and you don't read music, you should get a hold of a recording of the song from either the library or from a streaming service, and you should listen to that over and over again. Now here's the thing. There are a few drawbacks to that. The first is that the singer that you're listening to is going to have their own take on the song. They're going to have their own nuances. And if you listen to the song over and over again, you might start to copy off of what that singer does, which might not fit what you want for the song. The other thing is that sometimes singers make mistakes, and sometimes you'll be listening to the song and baking in those mistakes into your brain, and you might end up reproducing those mistakes. So that's not ideal. And then lastly, depending on the song, you might be doing a different version than what that singer is doing. But nonetheless, it's a decent strategy. And if you decide to do that, you should learn the song phrase by phrase. A phrase is how many notes you can sing on one breath of music. And so what you'll do is you'll go through the recording and you'll listen to a little tiny bit and you'll repeat it back on some nonsense syllables like da 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 or BBB, whatever you want. And then you'll try to put the words on top of that. If you read music, you should try to get a hold of the sheet music, and you'll do a similar thing where you'll learn the song one phrase at a time. You'll play a little bit on, piano or guitar or whatever instrument you play, and you'll repeat it back on nonsense syllables, and then you'll put the words on top of that. If you read music, it's also really helpful if you mark in your beats. So what you'll do is you'll draw a line through every single beat. And this is really helpful if the music is very complicated or you have to learn it really fast. I do this all the time because you can see how many notes you have to fit in before the next beat. If you have a bigger budget, you could meet with a pianist and ask the pianist to teach you the music. But one thing that you could do that's a little cheaper is ask the pianist to record in a voice memo your melody and then your accompaniment, the melody with the accompaniment. And you can even ask the pianist if they're willing to lightly sing your song over top of the accompaniment. And of course, as always, you're going to learn the song phrase by phrase. Listen to it in chunks, repeat it back on nonsense syllables, and then add the words on top of that. It's particularly important to get comfortable with the melody and the words separately if you're singing in a foreign language or if you're singing something really fast or complicated. Do yourself a favor and do not learn the song wrong. You are quadrupling the amount of work that you have to do to undo mistakes. I've seen singers get to the stage and continue to perform wrong notes because they learned them wrong at this stage. So be very mindful about the way that you're learning your music. Make sure you know your entrances in a song. So it's all well and good if you know the melody of the song, but if you don't know when to enter, then there's no point. So pay attention to the introductions and any musical interludes and make sure you know exactly where you should come in after those. If you're singing a song in a foreign language, it's really important that you get a recording of that language spoken by a vocal coach, a voice teacher, or a singer. The recording should be very slow and very clear. Now, the reason that you want it to be a vocal coach, voice teacher, or a singer is because the sung version of languages is different than the spoken form. So you can't just have a random person do it. It's got to be someone who knows the rules and the conventions of singing in the language. You can find a lot of recordings of especially common classical songs and probably even pop songs in foreign languages spoken on YouTube. It's really good at a certain point if you would sing these songs for a foreign language coach because they're really going to help you sound like a native speaker when you're singing the song. They're going to help root out little mistakes and they're going to help contextualize the language in your singing. Practice the language really slowly. Drag out each syllable for like 3 seconds. Make sure that it's crystal clear in exactly what you want it to be. In your music, if you're singing in a foreign language, you should write in your pronunciation, so that might be in the International Phonetic Alphabet if you know that, or just anything that can help you pronounce it better. You're going to write in a word-for-word translation, so above the text, in your music. You're going to translate every single word, and you can look those up in Wiktionary, or I have also liked wordreference.com. And then above the word-for-word translation, you'll do a phrase-by-phrase translation. Now, sometimes the word-for-word and the phrase-by-phrase are the same, in which case you don't have to write it twice. But sometimes they're different. So take the Italian phrase, non vedo l'ora. Now, literally that means word for word, I don't see the hour or I don't see the time. But the phrase actually means I'm excited or I'm looking forward to. And you need to have both written in your score because you need to know what the phrase means. There are so many phrase-by-phrase translations available online. If you take the name of your song and you literally just look up, that's the name of the song plus translation, you'll find a lot of translations online, and a lot of them are quite good. Many times songs in foreign languages will have an English version underneath, so it'll have like Italian and then English right under there, underneath the notes. And that is not a translation. I would call that an English interpretation, and it's only there if you want to sing it in English. Otherwise, you can basically just cross that out. It won't be useful to you. If you're taking voice lessons, make sure that you're doing your teacher's warm-ups and your teacher's exercises alongside all of this. You don't want to let your technique fall to the wayside as you're learning your song. If you have any tips for how to get comfortable with words, pitches, and rhythms, please leave them in the comments below. And if you need help, you can feel free to reach out. I will leave my information in the description of the video, and I'd be happy to work with you. I look forward to seeing you next, where we'll talk about how to prepare text for your song. I will see you next time.